Welcome everyone to the Church Connect webinar or live stream, whatever word we're supposed to use for this. My name is Matt.
And I'm Wes.
And we are really excited to chat with you and to talk to you about what is my favorite feature in the ChurchTrac account.
Why is this your favorite feature?
Church Connect is my favorite feature because I talk to churches every single day and they love Church Connect. Now, when I say they, I'm referring to churches that have actually taken the time to really customize it, build it out, and make it their own. Once they do that, it becomes a very powerful tool for communication and connection at their church for their members.
It really is.
Now, before we go any further, I want to just kind of talk about a couple things real quick. We have some really great resources for you once this workshop is done. You can join the ChurchTrac Facebook group. Wes, if you could, go ahead and drop the link to the Facebook group in the chat, just so that everybody can click on it and have it open later.
Yeah.
It's a great community. We've got thousands of ministers all over the world in that group. And it's they love ChurchTrac so much and they love doing ministry so much that they would love to help you with any questions that you have. We see churches ask questions that have nothing to do with ChurchTrac.
Yeah.
And we love it. It's a growing community. Please go ahead and join. We also have a YouTube channel. Wes, go ahead and tell them about YouTube.
Yeah, so if you're like me and you like to learn how to do things by watching a video or like you are doing right now, watching a live stream, our YouTube channel is so great. We post all of our previous live streams. We have a lot of step-by-step videos showing you how to use different aspects of the software. So go ahead, jump on in there and check out some of those videos at your leisure. And this current live stream right now. So if you're watching this in the future, hello future you.
This is past us.
This is going to be on the YouTube channel as well.
Yes, and also, anytime you're in your ChurchTrac account, in the top right-hand corner of the screen, there is an orange, or I think the proper word is tangerine.
Tangerine.
Yeah, there's a tangerine help button. I'll zoom in just to make sure everybody can see this. If you click that help button, first of all, you'll see some articles recommended to read based on the screen that you're in. But there's always these two buttons at the bottom. One says Show All Help Topics. The other says Ask Us a Question. Show All Help Topics takes you to our online user guide where we have, I think it's about 140 or 150 articles that you can read about everything to do with your ChurchTrac account. And you can also create a support ticket and schedule a phone call with our support team right here from this screen. And then if you go back to that window, the Ask Us a Question button, that opens up a support ticket. So you can get the help that you need from our support team right from your ChurchTrac account. And our support team is amazing. They're the best. I've worked in support all my life, all my professional life. And this is the best support team I've ever worked with. So go ahead and reach out to them. They get back to you really fast. Now that we've covered that, we're talking about Church Connect today because a few months ago, we had this Church Connect challenge. We challenged all of our churches in the ChurchTrac user group, the Facebook group, to update their Church Connect page, just to give it a full refresh, make it look awesome, and the winner won a year of ChurchTrac for free. And David, we actually have an image just showing you the comparison, the church before and then the after, what they made it look like. And it's amazing.
It's a huge difference.
It's a huge difference. First of all, no more stock photos.
Yes.
Second of all, their branding is on point. They actually took all of their colors and their logo, applied it to all the images that they used, and the fonts are all consistent. It looks great. This can be your church as well. And I'll bet the reason you're watching today is because you want this for your church. And we're here to make that happen. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to cover a lot of ground. We're going to be moving pretty fast.
Yes.
We're actually going to shut the chat down here in just a few minutes. But we're going to ask you a question here in a moment, though, so you get to answer that, and we'll talk through that. But we're going to cover what is Church Connect. That's the first thing we're going to talk about. Then we're going to talk about getting started with Church Connect. I'm actually going to walk you through the process of starting from scratch. We'll add a few cards to show you how to do that. And then we'll talk about how to make Church Connect look great.
Yes, like the one you just showed.
Yes, yeah, like that church did for themselves. And then we'll have a section at the end for tips, and then we'll have a Q&A to wrap everything up.
Yeah, so even though we will shut down the chat in just a few minutes, we're going to have a Q&A where you can ask all your questions live. Obviously, if you're watching this in the future, you can't ask those questions live, but you can still reach out to us at support.
Yes. So let's get started. Let's talk about what Church Connect is. But before we do that, we have to ask you a really important question, and Wes is going to drop it in the chat.
All right.
How would you describe your church website in 3 words or less? So describe your church website in 3 words or less in the chat. We ask this question all the time. We get a lot of really fun answers. The one that really sticks out to me was we asked that question one time and a church replied back, unchanging, like Jesus.
That's still to this day my favorite one. But we see so many different responses, and I ask this a lot of times in workshops that we do in our weekly workshops, and the responses we get are like the ones we're getting now. So Jamie says non-existent. Let's see. Stacy says needs help. Kyle says basic, which makes me think you're basic.
Basic.
Work in progress, too simple, old. And then we see a lot of churches too that say it's amazing. I love our church website. We actually just invested a lot of time and energy into making our website look really great.
Yeah, my church has a really good website through Squarespace. And there's a lot of really great platforms that will help your church create something really professional without needing to be a graphic designer, that you just find a really good template and run. And if that's you, that's fine. If you have a church website and your church has invested a lot of time and money in it and people actually visit the website, then you can keep it. We're actually going to talk about what Church Connect can do for every church, no matter what your relationship is with your website.
Yeah. So when it comes to church websites, every church falls into one of 3 camps. First is they don't have a website, like some of you I saw there in the chat. The other is a church that has a website, but it's slow, or maybe it's just kind of static. Maybe it has content on there that they just are not keeping updated very well, whatever it may be. And so they're thinking about changing things up. And then you have churches that have a phenomenal website, and they really just want something to kind of go nicely with that. And that's what makes Church Connect so great, is because it is a website, it is a church app, and it is a portal for your members where they can actually log in and interact with you. And so if you don't have a church website, today you do have a church website with Church Connect. And if you're in the camp where you already have a church website, it looks great, then hello, you have an app to coincide with your church website. And if you're kind of in the middle there and you're like, oh, maybe we can ditch our current website and use Church Connect, we have a lot of churches that are doing that. And they're forwarding their existing domain to their Church Connect URL, which we'll talk about in a second. And it's just saving them a lot of money and also just keeping everything in one place. So it can work for anybody in any situation, no matter what camp you fall into. Now, I think it's probably best, Matt, that we kind of just quickly show it off and everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So Wes actually has the smartphone. He's going to show you what Church Connect looks like on his phone. We're also going to show you like how to access Church Connect, how to download it, and everything else. So Wes, take it away.
Yeah, so I mean, first and foremost, when it comes to accessing Church Connect, you can provide your members with either the URL of your Church Connect page, where they can just type it in and go, or you can provide them with a QR code, which is built into it. Church Connect will show off. And so then they can just scan a QR code, and then it'll take them right to the website in Church Connect. And so here I am, I'm on my Church's Connect page, and it's built out of what we call cards, to keep it simple. And these cards can do so many different types of things. I mean, I've got a card here that is our connection card, where if someone selects that, then from here they can fill out their information and they can actually get plugged into our church. Maybe they want to learn more about our church. Maybe they have a spiritual decision. Or someone can go back to Church Connect and they can look at other aspects of it. And so as I scroll through, I see other cards like a link card, which takes people right to our church podcast. I have an online giving card, times and location, a prayer request, and so many other types of cards that you can create for your Church Connect. And then here's what the really cool part is, your people can actually download this. They don't even have to go to the App Store, whether they're on an iPhone or an Android. They just add it to their home screen on their phone.
Yep. So there's no risk of them accidentally downloading the wrong church app.
Which has happened to me, because when I was visiting a church and I wanted to give them, they told me to download their app. I downloaded the wrong church's app because they all had the same logo.
And the same name, probably.
And I literally almost gave to the wrong church. It was kind of hilarious. You don't have to worry about that here. And so people can add that app right to their home screen. They click done, and it is added right to their home screen. And so from here, I can just select the app, and there you go. It pulls up. There's no URL bar because now I have the app downloaded. But people can sign in. So they can actually create accounts as a church member. So I can sign in as a church member. And then from here, it looks the same at first.
At first.
But then, you see that little menu in the top left? I click that. I have access to all these things as a church member. Now I can go to my profile if I wanted to update my profile. All this applies in ChurchTrac on the people screen. So if I update any information, it's going to show up.
Yep. Your members can keep your database updated for you.
Now on this menu, I can also see any upcoming events. I can give online. I can look at my giving history, which is really cool.
Yeah,
instantly.
I mean, this is a game changer because a lot of churches right now, considering the time of year we're in, as we record this, they're thinking about contribution statements. Your members can access that and download it from their phone any time of year.
Yeah, and then like online giving, just to quickly show that off, I mean, I can go on here and I can say, hey, I want to give $100, and I can give once, or I can give repeat and do bi-weekly if I want to do recurring donations, charge my Visa card, and then I can just charge. So all this is built into Church Connect. Obviously, I just showed the quick, super fast version of everything, but that's just to quickly show you what it looks like and kind of some of the things you can do with it.
Now, this is all included in a standard or plus subscription with ChurchTrac. No extra cost. There's nothing hidden behind a fee or like a paywall. And I emphasize this because, like I mentioned earlier, I talk to churches every day. And I've talked to churches that when I get to Church Connect, as I show off what ChurchTrac can do for them, they ask me, how much does this cost? And I say nothing. And they're always surprised because no one believes that that a company would give something this powerful at no extra cost. No one's crazy enough to do that except us.
Yeah.
Now, we've covered Church Connect and what it is exactly and how to download it, how to access it. Let's show you how to get started. I'm not going to show you like the entire process of creating a whole Church Connect account or a Church Connect app. I'm going to walk you through a few cards just to kind of show you the process and give you everything you need so that you can hit the ground running and get started. I actually just this morning created a fresh account in ChurchTrac, so this is brand new, nothing's been done on it. A lot of you watching are probably in this position right now. You've just started your free trial, or maybe you've had ChurchTrac for a little while, but Church Connect is just a feature you haven't gotten to yet and you haven't set it up. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into this new account and start fresh so I can show you how to get started. So to get to Church Connect, I'm going to click the Church Connect button in the main menu on the left. And this brings me to the Church Connect dashboard. This is where I do the work of adding content, customizing everything, keeping it updated for my members. Now, starting out, you'll notice that there already are some cards. We added these to your account just to kind of show you, give you an example of what Church Connect is and how it works. But we can get rid of all of this and start fresh. Now, a couple things I want to talk about just from the top. I want to show you a few settings and a few features before we get into actually adding any cards. At the very top, you'll find your Church Connect URL. Wes mentioned giving your members the URL.
Yep.
This is here for you to copy and paste anywhere you need to put it, but also I want to point out the URL is going to have just a random series of letters and numbers. You can actually customize this.
And you definitely want to customize
Yes.
it. That's why this system keeps bothering you in the bottom right to customize your URL.
Yeah, like I mentioned, I just created this. I haven't done anything with this account. It's telling me I haven't customized my Connect page link. But even if you have closed that window out, you can still get to the page to customize it by clicking your Connect page address right above the URL. So right here at the top of this slide out window is the Customize Your Link button. So I could just type in my church's name and it'll tell me whether or not that's available. And if it is, and most likely it is, you can use that and it'll apply that keyword here into the subdomain of your URL. But also, you can download the QR code. This is a unique code for just your church. Your members can scan this. It'll take them right to the page that Wes showed you, and they can download and add your Church Connect app to their smartphone from that screen. Now, beyond that, there's this Connect menu in the top right-hand corner of the screen. This is where you can find your Connect settings. This is really important, and this actually kind of takes your Connect page to the next level.
Yeah.
Because not only can you customize like the subheading and the message at the top, but you can also customize the background color and the color of all the buttons or the secondary color of your Church Connect page. So you can insert your church's branding into your app. And if I scroll even further, you can also upload your app icon. So Wes, like he had that blue icon on the Church Connect app on his phone, you can load your church's logo here so that people will know exactly what that app is for.
Yep.
And then in the Connect menu, this is also where you can view your QR code and your URL. And this is also where you can see the device previews. I like pointing this out simply because as you're creating Church Connect, you can have this set up to be like optimized for use on a desktop or for a smartphone on the app. And you can preview that just by clicking on these devices just to see what it's all going to look like on somebody's smartphone or their tablet or the desktop. So you can see all of that before you launch it, and you can make sure it's exactly how you want it.
And I would say looking at it on the way it looks on the mobile device is probably going to be your default. And I say that just because I think it was over 57% of church website traffic. I can't remember. It depends on what stat you read, but all of them are above 50% now.
Yes.
So the majority of your church people are going to your church's website right there from their mobile device.
And we made Church Connect to be mobile first, not just mobile friendly.
Yeah.
So this is going to look really good on somebody's smartphone, and it'll make sense to gear this for your members and how it's going to look on their smartphone. So next up, the last thing I haven't shown you in the Connect menu is the Add a Card button. So we're going to go ahead and show you how to add cards to your Connect page. So if I click Add a Card, this little slide out menu appears, and I can choose a card type. We have lots of card types. I'm not even going to do one of each. That would take too long.
That would take a while.
But I'm going to show you some of the key ones, the ones that I think you're going to most appreciate. And once I show you how to do these three, that'll give you like the repetition. You'll know how to do all the rest that you want. So first of all, Wes showed you the card, the Connect with Potential card. I'm going to do that for this church. So I'm going to click Form Card, click Add this card. I'm going to go ahead and create a Connect card as well. So I'm going to name it Connect Card. And then below that, I can actually choose, this is really cool, I can choose whenever somebody fills out the form that this card is for, I can actually choose a ChurchTrac user to get notified of that response. So if you have like an outreach director or a connection director or anybody who's in charge of staying in touch with your guests, you can choose them to receive all the notifications when somebody fills this out. And then under Form Questions, I can actually customize the form, and this is really easy. I can have it automatically inject the name and email address or ask that in the form. And then let's say I want to ask, I want to say, how did you, or what do you want to learn more about? So I would like to, and I can choose the drop-down list, add this field. I can add list options. I want to join the church or become a member. Add list option.
And you're flying through this.
Yeah, talk to the pastor. This is easy, guys. This is easy. This only takes minutes to create even a full form that people fill out on the Connect page. So become a member, talk to the pastor, learn more about the church. Boom, done. So I'm going to add another question. Let's say I want to ask, how can we pray for you today?
And as you create these forms, at first it takes a minute just to kind of get used to the interface if you've never created a form like this. But then once you create them, I mean, I see a lot of church leaders start going crazy with it and start creating all these other forms where they have a dedicated prayer request form, a form for volunteering for the church, whatever it may be.
So I don't want to spend too much more time on this. I'm really just showing you the ropes of how to create a form card, but I could add more and more questions. You can customize this to do and function how you want it to function. And what's really great about this is I've seen Connect cards at every church I've ever been to that's sitting in the back of the pews or the chairs.
Yep.
But those have all been paid for, they're printed, and they're static. This can be customized anytime to ask whatever questions you think are relevant. And also, if guests are filling out this form but skipping over certain questions because they don't care to answer it, you can just remove that.
Yep.
You don't have to have the information in there that they're not answering. Now that I've created the form itself, I've actually already created an image for this, so I'm just going to drag and drop this over into this field here. I came prepared, y'all. If it would just work. There we go.
And so
you know what? I need to actually click on Edit Card. That's what I need to do. I'm in the wrong menu. There we go.
And so you're just dragging and dropping an image that you've already created, and boom, it's right there.
Close. Look at that. There's the card. I've just added that connection card, that form card, into my Connect app. So now anytime anyone goes there, they'll find that. If they're a guest, they can fill it out and give us their contact information so that we can follow up with them later. That's how to add a form card. Next, I'm going to add, let's do a page card. Okay. So a page card is just adding an additional page to your Connect app. I see churches use this for like the About Us page or the mission and vision statement, like a meet the staff card.
Yeah.
I've also seen churches use this for times and locations. That's what I'm going to do today. So if I click Connect Menu, add a card, we're going to add, it's the first one, page card.
There you go.
Add this card. Now, this is what's really cool about most of these card types, is you can edit the page content by clicking Edit Page Content here, and it gives me the ability to type in what I want, the text that I want to add to this page. So if this is a times and location card, I'm going to say, service is at 9 a.m. and we'll say like 11 a.m. And I can save the content, but you know what? I'm going to go a little bit further, Wes.
Uh-oh. You're doing what I think you're going to do.
Yes. If this is the times and location, I want to add the address. Now, I could type in the address here, or I can embed a Google map onto this page.
Now we're just getting crazy.
Oh, I know. We're getting advanced. So I'm going to do the code view. If you know anything about HTML, you're going to love this. So I'm going to open up another tab and say, I'm going to put in my church's address.
Okay.
So we'll say Metro Church. I should probably learn how to type first. This is my church. The Google Map location is here in the top right-hand corner. And here's what's really cool. In this menu here on the left, I can click this share button, and I'll zoom in just to make sure if you're watching this on a smartphone, you can see this. I could take this link and just send it to everybody so that they can open up the directions, but I could also embed the map. And Google gives you the HTML to do this. So I just copy it by clicking the Copy HTML button on the right. And then in this code view, copy paste, save content. Now all I have left to do is under Edit Card, I'll just drag and drop this image that I've already created.
So time
There
and
we
location.
go. Yep, come worship with us, time and location. Close. Now I've got two cards. I've got a form card and a time and location card. And I can delete all these extra cards that have been added already for us, like under Connect Card, click Delete. Okay, because I've already created a custom one. That's even better. So now that I've done a form card and a page card, let's do a link card. And I want to do the link card because I have a feeling that a lot of you are going to use link cards for a lot of different things.
It is probably the most versatile card, I think.
And it's because Church Connect can become the central hub of everything else that your church is doing online, such as all of your social media pages. Wes showed you, like in the Connect app, he showed you the podcast that linked to like Apple or Spotify or something like that.
Or like a YouTube stream or whatever it may be.
So you can link to your YouTube page. You can link to everything that your church is doing anywhere online right from the Connect app. So under Connect menu, add a card. I'm going to choose Link Card. For this one's really simple. I've already got our Facebook group pulled up, so I'm just going to use that link. In this case, I'm going to link to like this. We're going to pretend like we're linking to the church's Church Connect or the Facebook group for this church. And then under Edit Card, all I have to do is just drag and drop the image I've already created, and that's it. You just need the URL and then a card image, and I'm done. Then anytime somebody taps on that card in this Connect app, it'll take them to the Facebook page where they can join, and then from there they can be a part of that community. That's how you add cards. There's so many different card types. I'll just go ahead and open up that Connect menu again. There's registration card. This is for signing up for and attending an event that you've added to the events screen on your ChurchTrac account. The giving card is to link to your giving portal through Stripe, like Wes showed you. Mm-hmm. The quote card is just to add some text, like a quote or a song verse or something, or a Bible verse or something like that. Video card, you can actually add, and we have it demonstrated here already, this Things Pastors Never Say. You can add videos from either Vimeo or YouTube directly to your Church Connect app. So that can all be right there on the front page. I had a hard time even deciding what cards to show off, but the three cards that I showed you, they all follow the same process. So now that you've seen that, you're ready to hit the ground running.
Now, speaking of showing off cards, I think one thing worth mentioning here is when you're getting into Church Connect, it's not like a one-thing-fits-all approach in terms of what your people can see. If you select any card on your Church Connect page, you can actually set who can and cannot see that card.
That's right.
Which makes Church Connect, in essence, 2 websites in one.
Yes.
And you can cater one website/app towards just your members. So only cards that show up are cards you've designated to show up to people who have logged in. And you can have cards that are only showing up to people who have not logged in. And so I see a lot of ministries, they'll go to something like their times and location card or something and only make that visible to people who have not logged in because their regular members don't really need to see that, or vice versa. So there's really so many different ways you can customize this even further. I see a lot of churches love this just because they have really catered their experience specifically to their members and then another experience to people who are looking at their church, visiting, trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and that way you're not cluttering the app with cards that aren't relevant for those 2 different groups.
Yes.
They only see exactly what they need to see, and once a guest takes that next step and they become a member of the church, they can create an account in Church Connect and then have access to all the extra cards that are for the members of the church. Now, once you've added all of your cards, your Church Connect page will look a little something like this. I've got another account pulled up. This is actually the account that Wes was showing you on his smartphone. If I open up this link here, this is what Church Connect looks like on somebody's desktop. So now you've seen it on the app on somebody's smartphone and the website version on somebody's desktop. You can use this to fit the needs of your church no matter what that looks like.
And I just appreciate how it looks great no matter what type of device someone's looking on. Because I've gone to some church websites where they put a lot of effort into making an amazing website that looks awesome on a desktop. But the problem is most people are not viewing it on a desktop. So then you go on a mobile device and it's just like,
Yeah, like the text and the image don't fit anymore and it's just not scaled for a really small screen. And the template they selected, for whatever reason, just doesn't manage that well.
Yeah.
Some templates do, though. You can find really good templates that look great on both. But Church Connect already was built with smartphones in mind and with the desktop in mind, so it'll look good on no matter what device people are using. Now, we've covered what Church Connect is. We've also talked about how to get started, how to add your cards, and how to do a little bit of work of customizing those cards. Now, let's cover how to make your Church Connect look good.
oh man,
Because
get ready for this.
Yes, as you saw with the fresh account that I showed you and how to set everything up, that account, those cards were very basic. It was just some text and a color, like a background color, and that was it. I added some new cards, and I even added customized images that were done in Canva. You can make Church Connect look really professional through the Canva app. Now, to start this though, I have to ask you, what branding elements does your church already have in place? I know we don't have the chat, but
I just enabled it.
Oh, you just enabled it. Okay, there we go. Go ahead. We just reopened the chat. You can answer us there. What branding elements does your church already have in place? When I ask this question, I have the big 3 in mind, and that's your logo, your font, and your colors. And the reason we ask this is because, first of all, you can use all 3 of those in your Church Connect app. But also, we're going to talk about Canva real quick, and you can load all 3 of those into Canva and create some really professional images there using all of your branding.
Yeah.
So, all right, Mark and Pointer, you say we have a church logo, and Zimmer, new logo and colors. That's great. Logo and color. Color is dark blue. Awesome. So a lot of you already have at least certain elements of your branding created. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about Canva, but because we have already done a whole
we have a whole webinar that's pretty awesome that goes through it.
Last year we spent an entire hour talking about Canva and how churches can use Canva. And it's beyond even just using it for your Church Connect app. It's about how to create like professional flyers and forms that people can fill out, like actual physical forms, and how to use it for Church Connect. We're not going to go too deep, but we also have an article about it as well. There's lots of resources out there. I'll actually show you. If I go to the help button in the top right-hand corner of the screen, our video guy David's probably scrambling right now. All right, show all help topics. We have a Church Connect section with all of these articles you can read on how to set up Church Connect. We have one on making your Connect cards look great. So this is where we go into much more detail on how to use Canva, how to use some templates. We even created some templates that you can use free.
Yes.
And then here's a link to the video we did for that webinar, Canva for Churches. So go ahead and check that out. There's some other great resources you can use that I've found in recent months, like Coolers, coolers.com, or it's coolers.co, I think.
I think that's it. Coolers.com will buy you like a cooler to keep stuff
Yeah,
cold.
that's right. You can use that to create palettes for your branding, for your colors. FontJoy is a great way to create some really good, not just fonts, but also pairing different fonts together. FontJoy even has like a brand, has like a logo maker, so you can create a logo.
Oh wow, that's cool.
So there's a lot of really great resources out there that you can use either free or very cheap at a very low cost to create a really cool logo and get all of your branding elements down. And you can add that to Canva and use that to create all of these images. Like I did all of this in Canva, the Church Connect page that I've been showing you. You can make all of these really professional looking images to make Church Connect look great.
And we are not graphic designers by any means, and we use a free tool online like Canva to make this.
Yes.
And it kind of blows my mind like how good it looks for being something that two guys put together that
Yes.
still are not good at graphic design could put that out.
And we are not paid by any of these companies to talk them up. We use them ourselves, and we love them so much, we are very confident that we can recommend them to all of you. So go ahead and check out those resources. They're linked to in that article, the Making Your Connect Cards Look Great, on our user guide. Go ahead and check that out. Now, I know that there's one more question that's lingering in your minds, and how do I get my members to use this? Because I've experienced this myself. I made a Church Connect page for my church, and I then had to get enough people to actually download the app on their smartphone to make the time worth it. Because if you pour all this time and effort into making it look great, but no one uses it, then it's kind of pointless, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we're going to cover that. We're going to answer that question. We're going to cover a few other things as well in our tips section. So tip number 1 for using Church Connect and making it great. These are all tips that we've learned the hard way, by the way, or that we've learned because we've tried them and they've worked for us. We've also received some ideas from other churches and other ministers as we've talked to them and chatted with them over our Zoom workshops. When it comes to creating these images and customizing your Church Connect, Wes, go ahead and tell them what tip number 1 is.
So tip number 1, make your cards 1200 pixels wide. And if you're not sure how to do all that, you can always reach out to us or just Google it. But a lot of photo programs will enable you to set exactly how wide you want. Now you can put any image you want into Church Connect and it'll automatically resize it. But it's best to go with one that's already natively sized for Church Connect to be 1200
Yes.
because it just looks amazing. Now your pictures, they can be as tall as you want them to be, but I don't recommend cards that are any taller than 1200 pixels tall. You really don't want any more than a square, just because when you have a super long image on a cell phone device, it just kind of looks weird and it robs you of a lot of screen real estate that you can use to put other cards. So think of this as hey, I want to maximize the amount of cards someone sees by not having to scroll too much. So yeah, that would be a good tip for you.
Tip number 2 is size cards based on priority. And what I mean by that is you'll notice that some of these images are bigger than others, like this Connect with Potential card, online giving, and this volunteer form. Those are all taller than the Potential Church podcast card, the About Us card. You can size them differently. Like Wes said, they all need to be 1200 pixels wide, but they can be 1200 pixels tall, but you can also make them shorter. That way you can prioritize and make some cards a little more eye-catching than others. And so this Connect card, online giving, volunteer form, these all stand out more than the sermon notes card.
Yeah.
So go ahead and size them according to which ones you want to prioritize visually for your members to find. And then the third tip is similar to the second one. Arrange them according to priority. This is different because I'll show you my church, what I did. This is my church's Church Connect page. I made all of my card images the same exact size. I made them all squares. They're 1200 pixels wide by 1200 pixels tall. I did this because my pastor, I just felt like he would probably appreciate this. He likes things to look kind of modern and sleek, and I just felt like this accomplished
Yes.
that. So what I did, instead of sizing them or prioritizing them by size, I arrange them by priority. So the Connect card, the online giving, sermon notes, next steps, those are the first cards that people are going to see when they go to the app. Those are the first 4 cards that they'll scroll by. So I arrange them according to priority rather than size them by priority.
And here's a bonus tip I do want to throw out there, and we'll include this with the guide that we're going to email everybody tomorrow, as well as we'll post it in the chat later. But when you are adding all these cards and everything, it is really easy to get in this mindset of just wanting to create card after card, and then before you know it, you have like 30 cards.
Yes.
Don't do that. You don't want your people feeling like they're just scrolling on Instagram all day long, just the endless scroll. No. I always say that a good sweet spot is no more than 20 cards on Church Connect. I see some churches even go as little as 12. They keep it very pointed. And then other churches, they get around like that 20 range. But that seems to be the sweet spot of the number of cards you add, just because you don't want to just throw everything out there, because fatigue is a real thing. Yes. And if your people have to just kind of sift through this whole thing to try to make sense of it, they're going to be less likely to actually utilize this great feature.
Now, some more tips around like how to get members to actually download this and use it. Tip number 1, what I experienced, what worked for me best in getting more and more people to actually download the app on their smartphone, is to get volunteers to help. So what I did is my pastor had me come down, and I grabbed the microphone and I told everyone about Church Connect, and I told everyone I will be at the front to help anyone download it on their phone. And I had the QR code so they could just scan it real quick. And then they handed the phone to me and I downloaded it onto their phone. That was really helpful for people that just needed a little extra help navigating technology. There are some people who are very intuitive with tech, and the others that just need a little extra help. But that increased the adoption rate and the download rate of the app like several times fold. So make sure your volunteers are helping. I even recommend get your small group leaders to help. They train them on how to download it so that they can go to their small group and get their members to download it, whether it be small group or Sunday school. Have your volunteers help get more people using the app. We also recommend linking to it in all of your messaging, like your text messages and your social media posts, just to push that out to everybody as well that way. Okay. And it's really helpful if you do it through text, because they can have it on their phone and they can just tap the link, because we give you the link. You can just drop that into, if you're on your account, you go to the people screen, go to the messaging tab, you can just drop that link into a text message to all of your members. They can have it right where they need it. They can tap the link and just download it from there.
Yeah. Another really good way to get your people to adopt Church Connect is to start incorporating it in your service. Now, I mean much more than just like putting like a pre-service or post-service slide with the QR code, which you should definitely do.
Yes.
But I mean like actually getting interactive in your service with this. Now, this sounds a little nuts, but I've actually talked with pastors who have utilized Church Connect in real time in a church service to get feedback on things. Or they'll say, hey, scan the QR code if you haven't already downloaded our app, because I have the sermon notes for today in there right now for you to follow along. I've got a form. Hey, everybody, I just want to remind you, as your pastor, I want to pray for you. If you haven't already downloaded the app, go ahead, scan the QR code, get the app, and submit your prayer requests to me, and that way I will get them today so I can pray for you and your family. I mean, it's really cool how you can do that.
I talked to one pastor who really took it to the next level. He had his sermon notes in, but he did it as a form card so that people can actually fill in the notes as they go along.
That's cool.
And the first person to submit a fully filled out form got like a $25 gift card. So it really, yeah. I mean, not that you need to like dangle that kind of carrot in front of your members,
that's
but
genius.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was really creative. So he actually got people to use Church Connect during the service and interact with that card, and then gave them a reward for doing so. So it got more people into the habit of going to Church Connect more often during the week.
That made me feel really good as a pastor, seeing everyone on their phone, knowing they're not on their phone texting people, but they're on their phone filling out the sermon notes and trying to submit them.
Now, the next tip, we recommend you regularly update the content. When I say regularly, I'm being intentionally vague, because this is going to look different for every church. I recommend updating the cards, or at least something on Church Connect, at least once a week. That's what I recommend shooting for. But I don't want to put more things on your plate. You can decide what's feasible. One thing that's really handy about Church Connect beyond like being able to decide who sees what card, you can also automatically remove cards. You can actually set a date for a card to disappear or reappear. Or not reappear, but you can have a card hidden and then bring it back again as well. So if you have upcoming events or something that's like a form that people need to fill out to volunteer for an upcoming event, you can add that card and then set a timer for when it'll be removed. That way you no longer have, or you're not having to constantly sort through old content and remove it. Our system will take care of that for you.
Yeah, there was one time I was working with a church, helping them get on board with Church Connect, and they were like, oh yeah, you can check out our website that we're getting rid of, but at least to look at it to see what we're coming from. And I looked at it, they had a spaghetti dinner from 2 years ago on their church website.
Of course.
With Church Connect, you don't have to worry about having a spaghetti dinner from 2 years ago because you can set it to disappear and go bye-bye. So I love that feature.
And then the last tip is think outside the box. Try to be creative in the content that you add to Church Connect. That will add a lot of value to the app itself. And by that I mean try to think beyond just the basic forms you want people to fill out or some basic updates about upcoming events. When it comes to like adding content to Church Connect, we've seen churches add a lot of different videos, whether it be like their sermon series, but also videos that have like different illustrations, maybe videos from like the Bible Project or something like that.
Yeah.
Lots of YouTube channels out there that have really great visual content, and they regularly update their videos in Church Connect to have that content as well. So try to think beyond what just the basic information you have about your church. Try to give your members content that they would actually be interested in, and that will drive more engagement and more use of the app.
You have to give them a reason to actually go to the app.
Yes.
That's way beyond the other stuff.
Yes.
One pastor I talked to, Matt, he was telling me how what he did is he had this little, I'm trying to remember the word. It wasn't fireside chat, but he called it something chat to kind of go along with that theme.
Yes.
And it was like a quick 2-minute video he would post daily after he would do his own personal quiet time just to kind of encourage people and tell people what he had just read. And he only featured it on Church Connect. So the only way people could get to that video was they had to go to Church Connect to see that daily video. And he was telling me, after doing this, I was able to see the majority of our people start accessing it because they wanted that daily devotional thing I was putting out, and the only place to get it was Church Connect. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, that's the bulk of the content. We're about to move into the Q&A, so Wes is going to open up the Q&A for you to ask all of your questions. As he does that and as you start typing in your questions, I want to remind everybody we have a Facebook group that you can join. We'll go ahead. Well, I think we already shared that link earlier. So go ahead and go to our Facebook group, request to join. We'll have you approved here by the end of this workshop. We would love to see you there. Ask all the questions. Somebody there always has an answer for any question that you have. So it's a wonderful community. We would love to see you join.
Now, as everyone starts typing your questions, I just want to kind of give a disclaimer. First of all, if you're watching us in the future, you obviously can't join along in the Q&A time, but you can talk to our support team. But if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, that is a not monitored chat. So the only way you can actually ask questions is by joining along in the official link that was sent out to the Vimeo link there. All right, Matt, we have a lot of questions there coming on in. We already have 6, and I know we're going to have way more than that when it's all said and done. So I'm going to start pulling up some of these questions. So, and by the way, as you see questions, everybody, if there's a particular question you already saw someone ask that you were wanting to ask, you can actually just bump up that question. I think there's like a little thumbs up or something there you can do. All right, so the first question is from Nick and Summer, it looks like. And the question, Matt, is, can you embed a card within a card?
Yes, you can. You can link to a card within a card. So let me show you under, I'll go ahead and open up like this Church Connect, this church's Church Connect page. If I were to go to, let's say, the About Us page. Oh, let me do it again. There we go. You'll see the text, our vision, and our mission. But you'll also notice at the top, this card has a URL. Every card in Church Connect has its own unique URL. I could take this card, I could take this URL, and then let's say I want to put it into the times and location card. So I'm going to go ahead and back up. Click on times and location. I want to put it in this card. So I'm going to go ahead and edit under on the Church Connect dashboard. I'm going to edit page content. And underneath or I'll just put it at the top just to make it easy. just take and paste that card, save content. Now, the next time I'm on this, I can refresh the page, and there's the link. So you can actually embed, and I can even, if I wanted to.
Which, yeah, you could get. I was actually just showing a church how to do this yesterday. You could put an A tag in there and actually have it be a hyperlink that goes right to cards. I've seen a lot of churches do this approach where they have like multiple forms for their church, and they hide all those cards, but they still want the cards available, so they put the links to them all right there on one page card.
Yes.
And do that.
So I can do all of that and just say, hey, like here, and then there we go. So I can have, let's say, there we go. I'm doing HTML here. Let's say save content. Now I go back to this page, and boom, click here. There's our About Us page. What I've seen churches do is they'll like create a card, a page card, and then they'll hide that card so it doesn't actually display on the main page. But they'll take the URL and link to it in another page. So yes, the answer is you can embed another card in a card.
All right, I see a question from Rich. Rich is asking, I didn't see how to download the app. It isn't in the App Store? So it is not in the App Store, Rich, and that is by design because we wanted to make it that much easier for your people to access your app. They add it to their home screen on their phone, and when they add it to their home screen, it automatically adds it. And just to show everybody real quick what we mean by that is if I'm on the website here, so going back, so I have Church Connect. Now, the first time someone visits this, it's automatically going to prompt them showing them how to add it, but I just go to add it to my home screen. And the process is very similar in an Android device, by the way. And then I just select Add to Home Screen. And then from here, it will add that to my home screen. Now, unlike a typical website bookmark, this is actually downloading the application onto the phone. So then I select Add, and then it adds that application right onto my phone. And so your people have it.
All right, next question.
All right, so this was from Nathan, Matt. How easy is it to import your current website, Matt?
And by importing, I'm assuming like bringing all the content into Church Connect. The process is really simple. All you have to do is click that Connect menu button in the top right-hand corner of your Church Connect dashboard. Click Add a Card. And then from there, whatever content you're wanting to add, whether it be you want people to fill out a form or you want people to like sign up to attend an event or even check themselves in for attendance, you can add that content by selecting the relevant card type and then just pulling in all that content into that card. So you can edit that info, add all of that into Church Connect that way.
Now, there's really no website platform out there that just makes you be able to just export your entire website and import it to another. It's not really how it works. But yeah, in terms of creating those cards, it's super fast. And we made it for church leaders by church leaders because we're not webmasters over here. All right, Lucette, I'm still not clear on how to add the app to our phone. I can open the QR, but it disappears after I close it. So Lucette, when you're... It may be your phone. Do you have it set up to maybe where it's not wanting to scan the QR codes? Most phones these days, whenever you go and open your camera app and you show it to the QR code, it automatically wants to take you to whatever that QR code is pointing to. So that's what I would check to see if your phone or the device you're using may have that setting turned off, which sometimes it inadvertently gets turned off.
Yes.
All right, question, Matt from Kathy. Kathy is asking, how do you access the information that is entered on the cards?
So when you say access, are you talking about editing the info once you've added the card, or are you talking about accessing it from the main Church Connect page? To just get to a card, you just tap on it or click on it, whether you're on a smartphone or a desktop. If I click on Connect with Potential, it takes me to the form that this card is for. If you're wanting to edit the content, you go to your main Church Connect dashboard in the ChurchTrac account, click on that card, and then from here you can change this image. I can click Edit Card or Edit Page Content to update that information to change what is in that card now.
Perfect. All right, so Matt, Nathan is kind of following up on the previous question, and now we see exactly what Nathan's asking, not just the content, but the website itself. So Nathan, you're talking about like the URL of your actual website is what it sounds like?
Yes.
And like how do you make that be Church Connect? So we actually have some documentation, shows how to do that.
So we have, if you go to the Help button and then click Show All Help Topics, and then go to the Church Connect screen. Let's see. There it is, forwarding my domain to Church Connect. We give you instructions on how to take the current URL that your church owns now and have it direct people to the Church Connect page. So if you no longer want to maintain your website, you can get rid of that subscription with whatever website platform you're using, but still maintain your subscription with like your domain host, and people can still, you can use that URL to direct people to your new Connect page.
And jump at the Facebook group if you haven't already, and you can actually, you don't even have to ask, you can search the group for domain forwarding, and you'll see a lot of people that have already been talking about that, and that'll help give you some more insight too. I would imagine that there are people in the group that are doing domain forwarding with maybe the same company that your domain is already purchased from. So, and you can always just ask the question in the group too. They're super awesome in there. Lots of super helpful people. All right, Matt, this is a question from Matt.
Oh, okay.
If we have a visiting family that check in with the kids and then filled out a Connect card, is there a way to merge the two?
So yes, there's two ways that this can be done. To bring, you're talking about like a family checking in and then adding them to like your database or getting them into Church Connect. There's two ways you can do this. We talked about how Church Connect is a member portal. So members or guests, like a new family, can scan the QR code, download the app, and then click the sign in button like Wes did to sign in as a member. They can create an account with Church Connect. And what happens is in your Church Connect dashboard, at the very top of the screen, there is a Connect Users button. This is where you can decide whether you want to allow someone access to the member portal in Church Connect. Like this Kirk Nelson. I don't know if Kirk, you're watching right now, or if this is somebody that scanned and tried to get in earlier, but they have tried to create an account in this church's Connect page. Now, this person doesn't go to this church, so I'm going to click Match Registrant and say, select the name that matches the registrant. I can select a name if it matches, or I can say no name on this list matches this registrant, and I can add this name to the people screen. So that's how you can pull people from Church Connect into your database on the people screen. And then to go even further, if you're in the check-in screen under events and attendance and you're doing the family check-in, let's go ahead and just pretend like we're in Sunday service. I'm going to do attendance and check-in. We're getting really deep into this, but I'm going to show you real quick. Apply selections. You can do the family check-in screen, and you can actually add a family into your database right from that kiosk screen to check people in. So if I do check-in mode, I'm on this screen to assign somebody in. There's an Add a Family button in the top right-hand corner. So you can actually add families, new families, into your database from the family check-in screen. So those are the two ways to do it. Either do it while they're checking in, or they can do it through the Connect app.
All right. We've got a question from Jackie. So the form card being used for sermon notes, would that be accessible to the end user later? Does it save? So in terms of like saving it, no, in that particular example, it would not. They could still access the sermon notes at any time that you have them up, but the responses would get sent if they're like sent them as a response. So yeah, that may be something in the future we can kind of think through, though. We're always looking at ways to make it better and add things.
Yeah, thank you, Jackie. That's not a bad idea.
It's really not. All right, Mike, do you have real examples for churches that represent best practices? I mean, I would say your church for sure. That's a really good example right there. That one's so good that us at ChurchTrac made our demo church kind of go in with that one. And what I love so much about this one, Matt, is this example shows like how you can take something that's really simple, but at the same time, it's very vivid and very like pleasing to the eye as I look at this website.
So yes, you can make Church Connect look and function however you want. If you want examples, the best thing to do is go to our Facebook group. All the time, people in that group are asking for inspiration. So they'll jump in, post into the group, asking everybody to share their Connect page so that as they are making their own Connect page, they have some really good inspiration for how to make theirs look really great. So go to the Facebook group, ask the question there, ask everybody to share their Connect page, and you'll get some really good examples that way.
All right, another question, Matt, from Francie. How to connect Church Connect to a current website?
So at my church, we'll just use my church again as an example, Metro Church. There we go. This is our main website that we got through Squarespace. From here, I can click the Giving tab at the top of the screen, And that takes us to the online giving. Well, it takes us to Church Connect, but it also will take you to the online giving tab if you're logged into the account. So you can link directly to Church Connect from the website. Just take the URL, your subdomain that's at the top of the dashboard here. Just take that and then put it all over your church's website so it directs people to either the main page or at least some content in Church Connect.
All right, next question. This one's from Christine. Easiest way to get Canva design into Church Connect?
So we'll just go ahead and show you. I'll open up another tab and go to my Canva account. This is my Canva account that I use here at ChurchTrac. All I do is I just make whatever image that I'm making, click on this Join the Facebook group, and then click the Share button in the top right-hand corner once I'm done with a design, and then download it. That's all it takes. Our Church Connect only takes JPEGs, so make sure it's in that JPEG file format. But once you download it, all you have to do then is when you're in your cards, making your cards, just drag and drop that file like I showed you earlier, like I was doing when I was creating a brand new Church Connect page. All I had to do is click the Edit Card button, drag and drop that file here. So that's all you're doing. You're just going to Canva, making an image, and then just dropping that JPEG into Church Connect.
All right, question from Lisa. So Lisa's asking, when updating our logo to use as the app image, should that be 1200 by 1202, or what is the best size?
Thank you for asking. It does actually need to be a specific size. If I go to Connect menu and then click Connect Settings in the top right-hand corner of the screen, scroll down. This account, we have the app icon already loaded. You'll see some instructions below that, so if you forget later, you can read it here. It needs to be 256, I'll zoom in. It needs to be 256 pixels wide by 256 tall.
Has to.
Yes, has to. It can't be 255 pixels or 257 pixels. It needs to be 256 pixels tall and wide.
And this is both iOS and Android. It's a specification for when you're downloading those. And one thing worth mentioning, Matt, go back to that app icon because I think it's so important to mention this. Sometimes our natural inclination as we're doing these app icons, and especially to save time, is to just use our existing church logo, dump it in there, call it a day. Maybe sometimes that'll work, depending on what your church logo looks like. But oftentimes with an app icon, you really don't want it to have text because that text is going to be basically unreadable on any smartphone.
Way too small.
And then on top of that, if you have a logo that has a lot going on, lots of different crazy colors and stuff, that may look great on like a bigger thing, but then on a small, tiny app icon, you may want to see if you can like simplify it. Simple is always better when we're talking about app icons. Just app icons, though.
Yes, gravitate towards whatever visual element you have for your church logo. So like this is what David's showing you the smartphone right now. You'll see the app icon there. It's just the visual element of this church's logo without any text. So that's what it's going to look like. Make sure that you just focus in on the visual, not the text.
All right, now I want to take a quick pause because we are going at almost 15 minutes of this Q&A time, and we have a lot of questions, Matt.
Yeah, over 20 more.
So this is what we're going to call this the really long lightning round, and we're going to try to fly as quick as we can to answer as many of these. We're going to try our best to answer all of them. If we don't get to your question, it's not because we didn't like it. It's just we're running out of time. And so what you can always do is just reach out to our support team and just submit a ticket. Even in our busiest time of year, you'll get a reply back usually in about an hour at most. All right, so question from Kathy, Matt. The responses that are put in say you want to know who needs prayers. How can the pastor access it?
So for that, you can click on a card. If it's a form card, they're filling out their prayer requests. Like I mentioned earlier, you can designate which user in ChurchTrac gets the reply. So your pastor can just have this emailed directly to them. But worst case, at the top of your Connect dashboard, the Form Responses tab, this is where all form responses are stored, so everybody can access this in ChurchTrac. Next question.
All right, next question here, and this one's from Jackie. I think Kathy means how to access info.
Yeah, she was clarifying, so we just answered that.
All right, got that. Next question then. What happens with the information someone puts on their card? How will the pastor of the church office see it?
Same question, there you go.
Everyone's asking the same thing.
Form responses is where everybody goes, though you can have it directed to somebody in particular.
Oh man, I have words for this. Lisa, you're asking, how can I get a birthday calendar month view in Church Connect? Lisa, I would strongly advise against this. Now, back in the day, I would have personally said, hey, this is a great thing, put it on there. We live in too crazy of a day and age to where it's really just not good to be putting people's birthdays out in the wide open on the internet, just because identity theft, it's real, it happens all the time. And so any information that's very specific like that about a person, like their birthday, may not be best to put on there. What I've seen a lot of churches do in their Church Connect that I think is a much better alternative is to say birthdays this week, and they have like a page card or something like that, and they feature everybody who has a birthday that week, not saying the specific date, but just saying, hey, this week it's their birthday. I don't mean to come across as like rude in how I just said that, but I've just seen way too many situations of identity theft, not only in ministry, but just in life in general, for doing things like that.
Another thing, though, is you do get an online directory through Church Connect that only the members and Connect users can access, and people can opt in and choose to display their birthday that way.
Yep, so you can kind of, that's definitely the best way when it comes to giving them the option if they actually want to display it.
All right, Lucette, that's another similar question as earlier. You just go to the Form Responses tab at the top. Vincent, how to get your church logo to show up on the app? Very good question. We haven't shown that. In the account in ChurchTrac, instead of going to Church Connect, click on the Settings option in the menu. And then under Admin Settings, only someone labeled as the administrator of the account can access this. But this is where you can upload your church's logo. And we're pulling from this file to put it at the top of the Church Connect, and as well as some reports that you can generate in ChurchTrac. So go ahead and add your church's logo there.
All right, so Carla's got a really good question, and we've actually just made changes in online giving, and so it has changed. Carla's asking, how can members edit their own online giving? And more specifically, their online recurring giving, because recurring is a big deal. So whenever someone's giving online, I'll just pull it up on the screen here. So I've already in the process entering giving and everything. We have this little cogwheel here to choose a payment source. If you click that, that actually brings you to the recurring giving settings, in which people can see all the different recurring giving. Now, typically a church member is only going to have one recurring giving, but maybe they have a couple, but they can easily just clear one out and cancel it if they want to, and there you go. So that's how you edit recurring giving. That's a really good question. I'm really glad that you brought that one up, Carla. All right.
Trevor, yes, let's go ahead and pull that one out.
Yes, that's a good one, Trevor.
Is there a way to make it not so boxy? And the answer is actually yes. You can, under the Church Connect menu, if I go back to the Church Connect dashboard, under Connect menu, Connect settings, I can actually decide the border radius. In other words, I can make it a square, so all the cards have a very sharp 90-degree angle. You can see how they change themselves on the left. Or I can make it an extreme curve and basically make them look almost like a, well, it's not quite a circle, but the curves are very, very pronounced. Or I can choose the default curve, which is a half step between those two. So you can choose the curves, but also, again, you can choose the size by creating different image sizes. So instead of using all squares like I did at my church for my Church Connect page, you can make some squares, some rectangles, and therefore make it, basically give your Church Connect a little bit different texture.
Yeah, and I prefer the rounded look personally.
I do too.
All right, Nick, it's summer. Can it be a graphic rather than a link? Not sure what you're referencing, Matt. Do you know what they're referencing?
No.
All right, so we're going to hide it.
Oh, maybe embedding, like adding a card, embedding a card into a card?
Oh, yeah. There's a way you could do it, but we just don't have time to talk about it.
Yeah, is it like the iframe and then putting in an image and then making that a link?
You would have to
do
something.
that?
You
Can you do that in Church Connect?
I've
Okay.
seen churches do it.
I've never done it.
If you can dream it, I've seen a church do it in Church
Yes.
Connect. Because it is a platform that we try to make really easy and uniform for any church to figure out, but it also has the customization where you can open up that code view on page cards and stuff.
So you do have to know HTML to do it, but the answer is yes. So Pastor Vincent Irvin, where are the sample cards located again? Those are on your Connect dashboard when you first set up an account. I'll go back. Ooh, I'm logged out of that account. Never mind. I can't show you because I just got logged out. But you can see all of those sample cards in the Connect dashboard if you haven't already removed them.
this is not fully a Church Connect question, but I'll allow it from Mark. Where do church donations that get deposited when someone donates, where do they go? That's handled through Stripe, and so when you connect Stripe with ChurchTrac, then it will automatically go to the bank account that you've designated, and all those donations show up in your giving screen, which we're going to be talking about next week. And we've already sent out an email. You should be getting an email. It'll be an in-app notification. You're going to get another email about it, so be sure to join us next week when we talk about the giving screen. All right, question here from Loretta. Can the app be downloaded to a tablet or a laptop or just to a phone?
It can go anywhere you want it. So it can be downloaded not just on a phone, but also a tablet. It's a web app. So you're just creating a link essentially on that smartphone or whatever device that you're using. So yes, you can add it to any of those devices.
Now, laptops, kind of different depending on the laptop. I've seen some laptops that will try to create an app from it, others don't. But as far as tablets and phones, all day it downloads it as an app there for you. All right. We already showed how to download ChurchTrac on your phone. They're asking ChurchTrac. So the ChurchTrac is accessible only by the internet, which can be accessed by phone or anything. All right. Next question. Okay, this one's from Nick and Summer. When you use HTML, can we pull image source? Can these images be stored on ChurchTrac? Again, going back in the card, embedded within the card with graphics. Yes.
Yes. The answer is yes. You clearly, the terminology you're using tells me you know what you're doing. The answer is yes. You can do all of that through the code view when editing the page content for a page card. All right. Pastor Breck. Let's pull Pastor Breck. Can you forward Church Connect responses to multiple emails? The answer is no.
Not at this time. We have been talking about this in development.
Really? Yeah, I didn't actually know this.
Yeah, we're kind of going back and forth just to see, because just to give you a slight insight into how we do things here at ChurchTrac, we always want to make everything user-friendly. And so, but at the same time, we do want to give churches the power to do some pretty amazing things. Hence why we have automations, which that's another feature we'll talk about another day. But if you haven't checked out automations, that is literally the most powerful feature in all of the church management software world.
Yes.
It is insane. You can automate so many things. But that is something we have considered. I think it just comes down to, if we did it, it would have to be something that would be really easy for someone to understand, because the last thing you want is maybe having form cards that need to get sent to a person and they get sent to like everybody on your ChurchTrac account. So yeah.
The workaround that my church uses is we created a shared email inbox and then created like a fake user and then assigned those types of responses. Anything that needs to go to all of us, we assign it to that fake user that we can all see.
Yeah.
That's the workaround. But again, everybody can see all form responses anyway by clicking the form responses tab at the top of the Church Connect dashboard.
Yeah. But yeah, send us a feature request on that. If we get enough churches asking for that specific feature, we're definitely all ears on that. Ed's asking about live streaming. Can you embed a live stream into Church Connect?
The answer is yes, absolutely. I didn't show you how to add a video card earlier, so we'll just walk through that real quick. Under Connect menu, add a card, scroll down to the video card option, and add this card. All I have to do is select whether I want this to be video from YouTube or Vimeo live stream. And then if it's a YouTube video, you just take the video ID and drop that into this field. You can actually do that with any live stream. I see churches just log in at the beginning of service right beforehand and take the video ID of the current week's live stream and drop it in. So you can update every week what live stream you're producing and putting into Church Connect. But the answer is yes, you can do that.
All right, now we're flying extra fast here, Matt, because we want to get all these questions answered. Pastor Vincent, where are the sample cards located again? They're already right there.
Yes.
They're right there as soon as you go to Church Connect and by default. Question from another Nathan. Does the app support push notifications? Not yet. But I have seen Apple actually Google may already do this. I'll have to double check on that. But the process of getting push notifications enabled on mobile devices for web applications is starting to become a thing, even more so. Apple, I know for a fact, used to never let this happen. And now with their new release of iOS just a few months ago, they're actually showing that this is going to be a reality. So we should be seeing this. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So, Question from Loretta, isn't there a limit to the number of people in your database?
The answer is yes. Your price tier in ChurchTrac is based on the number of names that you add to the people screen. So yes, if you don't select the unlimited name tier, you will be limited that way. So you'd have to reach out to ChurchTrac support to upgrade your subscription if you need to add more people.
All right. Question from Ashlyn and Thompson. When downloading our Church Connect portal to our phone's home screen, how different is the iPhone versus Android process? Our staff has all iPhones. We actually have, if you go, let me show this real quick. I'm actually going to go out of here, go back to the home screen, because I want to show everyone what this looks like. So when someone goes to sign in with Church Connect, if they're needing some help, they click that Need Help right here. And that actually takes them to our online user guide, and they need help registering, need help installing. We actually have an entire article with a video that I need to update soon because I can see it's been a minute. But it shows people exactly how to download the Church Connect app, both on an iPhone as well as downloading it on an Android. So you can see those screenshots showing how to download an Android. So that's all available as well. All right. Lucette, I'm still having difficulty download my app, my QR code, blah, blah, blah. All right, check out that thing I just showed earlier, Lucette, and that's simply just click the Need Help when you're trying to download it, and it shows you how to download it there with that screenshot I just showed a moment ago. And if you're still needing help, just reach out to the support team. When someone registers into the app, this is from Jackie, can they access content right away, or do they have to wait until they are matched with the member database in ChurchTrac?
I'm pretty sure they have to be matched before they can get into a member portal. So the answer is they do have to be matched, yes. They can create an account and they can be added into the people screen, and then once that's done, then they have access to the like a user menu in the Church Connect app.
All right, Mark, I was able to view an answer on your FAQ page. Yeah, our FAQs page really has a lot of good content there to help you out. Lisa, good point on the birthday. Yeah, and I wasn't trying to be like snarky. It was just one of those things where we are finding we live in a day and age where we have to just be very careful about the content we post online because it's online. It's accessible by anyone. And in fact, we even put stuff out not too long ago just because there are scammers around and they are trying to, churches are actually one of the easiest places for scammers to attack and get information and do phishing scams, and not like phishing like you're going fishing, but email scams to try to get money. And we've really locked things down, but at the end of the day, it does lie on you as well to kind of do that. Can we change the name of the app on the home screen to something other than Connect? So on an iPhone, I know that people can change the name. Android, I don't know. Do you know, Matt?
I don't think there is a name for mine on my smartphone. I don't have it with me, but I would have to look. It doesn't have a name. Mine just has the logo.
All right. And then, Kylie, do guest attendance forms registering for events or check-ins count towards church tier people limit if they're not put into the full directory of people?
No, so if like a non-church member were to fill out a guest form or fill out like a registration form to attend an event, that's not going to count towards your people name tier. You would have to add them to the people database for that to happen.
Yeah, once you match them into the people database, that's when they're added to your database. Now you can archive people, so they don't count if that's a situation you're in. But I mean, with our pricing, I mean, we're so super affordable there that most people end up just keeping it so they can connect with these people later on and have correspondence. And last question from Annette, and this is the last one, Matt. Jackie tried to sneak one in there. I just don't have time. If members change their info, will the admin be notified of changes automatically? No user in ChurchTrac is notified when somebody updates their personal info. You would just see that on the people screen on that person's profile. Now, actually, I take back what I said a minute ago. I'm going to answer Jackie's question just because it really
I was hoping you would, because I saw it too.
Yeah, it's such a good question. I have to answer this. Where can you find a registered app list of registered app users? Can you block or unregister someone if they are causing problems? Yes, you can do that. And you are going to have situations when that does arise.
Yes,
occasionally. Because of the world we live.
So to do that, on your Church Connect dashboard at the top of the screen, just click the Connect Users tab. And like this Kirk Nelson, since he's not a member of this church, I can just delete this user. So I can remove somebody if they're not an actual guest or member of this church. Also, if this James Bond person were to prove to be a fake person, they probably are, I can delete them as a user after I've registered them. So I can just remove that person. So you can reset their password from here if they're having trouble logging in. You can remove them. You can also update whether or not they have access to the directory. So even if they've created an account and other members are opting into the directory, you can say, this person doesn't need to see any of that information. So you have a lot of control over what users can and cannot do and who has access to Church Connect and who doesn't.
Cool. Well, this was a lot. I know we went through like 45 minutes of material, and then this, I think, was the longest Q&A we've ever done on the end.
It was 30 minutes.
30 minutes, and people were staying in here, so obviously they had some good questions to ask. We typically don't go that long, but we really wanted to answer all these questions, and so if you're willing to stay, we're willing to answer the questions. Well, on that note, Matt, thank you so much for bringing all this stuff.
This was fun.
Because
I enjoy it.
Church Connect, like it is your most favorite feature, and in fact, I didn't say it, but it's actually my favorite feature too. Just because the capabilities for churches to utilize this tool, it's awesome.
And it's free.
Yes.
It's free. It's free. Go ahead and log into your account and start using Church Connect today. Also, we'll be doing another webinar just like this one next week, Wednesday, same bat time, same bat channel, but we'll be covering the giving screen.
Yes.
All the information about how to record your donations, how to set up online giving, how to take everything to the next level. You'll be getting an email later afterwards this afternoon with this document, this Church Connect, how to make an amazing app. It covers a lot of the material that we talked about today in a more condensed fashion so that you can hit the ground running with your Church Connect app.
And I'm posting the link for that future live stream in the chat. I just enabled it real fast there, so if you do want to register for that, you can. All right, well, you all have a fantastic rest of your week.